Today our group is going to discuss and contrast the articles written by Levitt and Rugman. Our presentation will be structured as follows. First of all, Rachel will open the discussion with the views on the globalization, how they differ and why it might be the case. Then Susan and Lisa will examine the degree of standardization of products, contrasting perspectives of both academics. And finally, Roman will examine authors' views on international strategies and how they differ. And I myself will end the presentation with a factive summary. Now I would like to pass it on to Rachel.
The Levitt article, The Globalisation of Markets, written in 1984, views globalisation as the business of the future, claiming that without globalisation, organisations would not survive in the growing business world. Rugman and Hodgett's article view differs quite considerably from Levitt. He concludes that globalisation is on the way out and that it is not possible to standardise products and services across the world, and gives various examples of how this is not possible. It must be noted, however, that there is quite a time difference between when the articles were written. Thus, this could go some way in explaining the differences in their views, which we will now go on to discuss in further detail. I'll now pass you over to Susie, who will explain our points.
Okay, so Levitt argues that all products should remain the exact same in each and every country, equally, so that everyone is getting the exact same thing, whilst Rugman believes that it's important to adapt each product depending on the markets, culture and value of the varying countries. However, it's important to understand the different extents to which adaptation changes globalisation into multinationalisation. Rugman feels almost every product will have to include an adaptation of some sort, from adapting the market strategy to certain ingredients, such as McDonald's not serving beef in India. This is a way of not stepping on anyone's toes when entering a different culture, while still keeping a product as close to original as possible. This contrasts with Levitt's one-way view on globalisation as the way forward, and no product should be altered worldwide. Levitt believes that pure success can be achieved by pure globalisation. Now I'll pass it on to Lisa to continue on.
Okay. Rugman argues that only a few sectors are able to operate in a pure global approach within the triad region, and therefore not making it completely global, as it is only operating within that region. Levitt and Rugman have two different definitions on the concept of adaptation and what it actually means. For example, within the automobile industry, Levitt believes that adapting a left-hand driver vehicle to the right is not seen as adapting the product, as it is required to comply with national road regulations and cultural differences, whereas Rugman argues that there is no such thing as a global vehicle. A standardized approach cannot be assumed for all businesses. The individual business would need to find the right mix of production, marketing, and location that works best for them, ensuring that the brand identity and USP is kept.
Rugman and Hodgett's approach to his article is rather heavily theory-based, as opposed to Levitt's method, which is deriving points through his own findings. The International Management Strategy Matrix is a significant tool used by Rugman and Hodgett's, and this highlights 4 global strategies. Throughout the article, the authors discuss the 3 key strategies, which are 1 pure global strategy in quadrant 1, a pure national responsive strategy in quadrant 4, where adaptation is quite key, and then quadrant 3, which is a sufficient balance between the two of integration and national responsiveness. Several examples are used to illustrate these techniques, such as IKEA, Ericsson and the Kingfisher Group. However, in Levitt's article, in terms of the matrix used in Rugman and Hodgett's, he only explores the one strategy within the first quadrant, which is a pure global strategy, a strategy which is relatively standardized based. Levitt firstly discusses global versus multinational, however is quick to cancel out the multinational strategy, as he describes it as an absolute, as opposed to the global strategy as being absolute. This is backed up by the homogenization of the world's needs and wants. Levitt has not explored the different variables, the various strategies which are out there. Therefore, this highlights a limitation in contrast to Rugman and Hodgett's. Overall, the matrix gave a guideline and demonstrates the depth in this Rugman article. It is more broad, whereas Levitt is much more narrow in a sense of examining singly one global strategy. Levitt believes that the global strategy should be an aggressive marketing approach, ensuring economies of scale. The key driver is technology, and he emphasises this throughout the whole article, with the key aspect of the right combination of high quality and low prices. He believes that consumers will be persuaded to buy products. I'll pass you over to Maria to conclude for us.
So far, we examined the different positions of the authors on globalization. We also looked at the degree of standardization of products suggested by both academics, and we also examined different approaches to internationalization and what authors viewed as the success. Although it's clear that economies of scale is required in order to lower the prices and pursue standardization of the products, local responsiveness cannot be ignored. This will of course depend on the product industry and overall goal of management. Thank you for your attention.